think we should move on. But yes.
Okay. So how would we like to ruin the show now? Should we talk about Biden and the documents and ruin the show with political talk? Or should we talk about, since it's been such a great episode so far, what do we want to talk about next? I'll give you a couple choices.
What you don't want to talk about.
Guys are talking about productivity.
Give it to him.
We
all know.
Buybacks, air glasses.
Hold on a second. We all know, J. Cal, that according to you, when a president is in possession of classified documents in his home that apparently have been taken in an unauthorized manner, basically stolen, he should have his home raided by the FBI.
Almost close. Close. So anyway, the Biden, as of the taping of this, has now said there's a third batch of classified documents. This group, I guess there was one at an office, one at a library. Now this third group is in his garage with his Corvette. Certainly not looking good. Independent.
They say that in his defense, they say the garage was locked, meaning that you could use a garage door opener to open or close it. So it was locked when closed.
So pretty much as secure as the documents at Mar-a-Lago. Same equivalency.
No. I mean, just to be perfectly fair, the documents in Mar-a-Lago were locked in a basement. The FBI came, checked it out, said, we'd like you to lock those up. They locked them up. So
got it.
A little safer than
maybe a little safer than in the trunk of your Corvette.
But functionally the same.
Functionally the same. The only difference here would be what, Sacks, when you look at these two cases?
Well, that in one case, Merrick Garland has appointed an independent counsel to investigate Trump, and there's no such a special counsel or investigator appointed to investigate Biden. I mean, these things are functionally the same.
Didn't he put somebody on it, though? Wait, did he put somebody on it?
I don't think they've appointed a special counsel yet.
No, they did. As of an hour ago, a special counsel was appointed.
Okay.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, 1 hour ago. Robert Hur is his name.
Okay. I guess there are real questions to look into here. The documents apparently were moved twice. Why were they moved? Who ordered that? What was a classified document doing in Biden's personal library? What do the documents pertain to? Do they touch on the Biden family's business dealings in Ukraine and China? So there are real things to look into here. But let me just take a step back. Now that the last three presidential candidates have been ensnared in these classified document problems, remember, it's Biden now and then Trump and Hillary Clinton before Trump. I think it's time to step back and ask, are we overclassifying documents? I mean, are we fetishizing these documents? Are they all really that sensitive? It seems to me that we have an overclassification problem, meaning that ever since FOIA was passed, the Freedom of Information Act, the government can avoid accountability and prying eyes by simply labeling any document as classified. So overclassification was a logical response by the permanent government to the Freedom of Information Act. And now it's gotten to the point where just about everything handed to a president or vice president is classified. So I think I can understand why they're all making this mistake. And I think a compounding problem is that we never declassify anything. There's still all these records from the Kennedy assassination that have never been declassified.
They're supposed to have declassified these. The CIA keeps filibustering on the release of the JFK assassination documents, and they've been told they have to stop and they have to release them, and then they keep redacting stuff, which is making it. I mean, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist here, but what are they trying to cover up? I mean, this is a long time ago.
That's the only way to interpret it. But even for more mundane documents, there are very few documents that need to be classified after even, say, 5 years. You could argue that we should be automatically declassifying them after 5 years unless they go through a process to get reclassified. I mean, I'd say just you guys in business, I know it's not government, in business, how many of the documents that you deal with are still sensitive, are trade secrets 5 years later?
Certainly 20 years. Certainly 20 years later, they're not, right? Like in almost all cases.
I would even say like 5 years. I mean, the only the only documents in business that I think I deal with that you could call sensitive are the ones that pertain to the company's future plans, right? Because you wouldn't want a competitor to get those.
Yeah,
there's a handful of things,
legal
right?
issues. Yeah.
Even cap table
maybe-
is not that sensitive because by the time you go public, it's legally has to be public.
Yeah. So,
It's on
So at some
Carta.
point,
Like there's 100 people who have that. I mean, it's
Exactly.
so like in business, I think our experience has been there's very few documents that stay sensitive that need to remain secret. Now, look, if Biden or Trump or whoever, they're reviewing the schematics to the Javelin missile system or to, how we make our nuclear bombs or something, obviously that needs to stay secret forever. But I don't believe our politicians are reviewing those kinds of documents.
Well, we both.
I don't really understand what it is that they're reviewing.
Why are they keeping
that needs
them?
to be classified 5 years
and
later?
why are they keeping them was the issue we discussed previously. We actually agreed on that. I think they're just keeping mementos.
I think there's a simple explanation for why they're keeping them, Jason, which is that that everything is more classified and there's a zillion documents. And if you look, like both Biden and Trump, these documents were mixed in with a bunch of personal effects and mementos. My point is, if you work in government and handle documents, they're all classified. So,
and if the National Archive asks for them back, or you find them, you should just give them back. I mean, that's going to wind up being the rub here.
Fine,
Trump
enough,
didn't give them back, and Biden did. So that's the only difference here.
Well,
really.
no. Hold on. The FBI went to Trump's basement. They looked around. They said, put a lock on this. They seemed to be okay with it initially. Then maybe they changed their minds. I don't know. I'm not defending Trump.
No, it's pretty clear that he wouldn't give them back. Yeah. That was
the point I'm making is that now that Biden, Trump, and Hillary Clinton have all been ensnared in this, is it time to rethink the fact that we're overclassifying so many documents? I mean, just think about the incentives that we're creating for our politicians. Okay, just think about the incentives. Number one, never use email. Remember Hillary Clinton and the whole email server?
Yeah.
You got to be nuts to use email. Number two,
Trump
never
would
touch
use
a
it.
document. Never touch a document. Why, Never let anyone hand you a document.
Flush them down the toilet.
Never let anyone hand you a document.
Trump's flushing documents down the
if
toilet.
if you're a politician, an elected official,
Yeah.
the only time you should ever be handling anything is going to a clean room,
Right.
make an appointment, go in there, read something, don't
Skiff.
take notes, don't bring a camera, and then leave. I mean, this is no way to run a government.
It's crazy.
Who does this benefit? Hold
here's
on.
the-
Who
I'll
does,
tell you
who
the
does this benefit? It doesn't benefit our elected officials. It makes it almost impossible
No, insiders.
for them to act like normal people.
The swamp.
It benefits the insiders, the permanent government.
You're missing the most important part about the Sacks. This was, if you want to go into conspiracy theories, this was a setup. Biden planted the documents
Here we go.
so that we could create the false equivalency and start up Biden versus Trump 2024. This ensures that now Trump has something to fight with Biden about, and this is going to help Trump.
Because you're saying
I-
they're both tainted, equally tainted from the
Yes.
same source.
They are equally tainted now.
It
But
puts Trump in the news cycle.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think Merrick Garland now is going to have to drop the prosecution against Trump for the stolen documents, or at least that part of what they're investigating him for. They might still investigate him over January 6th or something. They can't investigate
And
Trump
Georgia.
over documents
Those two
now.
seems more sticky, yeah. I agree with that, actually. I think it's going to be hard to do.
But my point is, just think about, look, both sides are engaged in hyperpartisanship. The way right now that the conservatives and the right, they're attacking Biden now for the same thing that the left was attacking Trump for. My point is, just take a step back and again, think about the incentives we're creating about how to run our government. You can't use email and you can't touch documents.
And everything's an investigation
official.
the second you get out of office.
And by the way, don't ever go into politics if you're a business person, because they'll investigate every deal you ever did prior to getting into politics. I mean,
So
just
what are
think
you
about
going
the
to do?
incentives.
What are you going to do when you try to get your treasury position? What's going
You
to
got to
happen?
be nuts. You got to be nuts to go into
So
government.
you're not going to take a position in
My point
DeSantis'
is
cabinet.
that the Washington insiders, by which I mean the permanent Washington establishment, i.e. the deep state, they're creating a system in which they're running things and the elected officials barely can operate like normal functioning humans there.
Interesting.
That's
I
what's
heard
going on.
I heard a great rumor. This is total gossip mongering.
Oh, here we go.
That, one of Ken Griffin's best out is to get DeSantis elected so that he can become Treasury Secretary. I mean, Ken Griffin would get that if he wanted it. And then he would be able to divest all of Citadel tax-free. So he would mark to market like $30 billion, which is a genius way to go out. Now, then it occurred to me, oh my God, that is me and Sachs's path too. with a lot less money, but the same path.
Wait, why would it be tax-free?
When you get appointed to those senior posts, you're allowed to either stick it in a blind trust or you can sell with no capital gains.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, because they want you to divest.
They want you
anything that
unconflicted.
yes, anything that presents a conflict, they want you to divest. And so the argument is, if you're forced to divest it to enter a government, you shouldn't be forcibly taxed.
Wait, if I
on
become
it.
mayor of San Francisco or Austin,
No,
I can
no,
do that?
federal
Cabinet.
government.
When
Things
you
like
become
cabinet.
Secretary of Transportation, JCal, you can do that.
Oh, I'm qualified for that.
Yeah.
I take the bus. I got an electric bike.
To answer Friedberg's point, I think Citadel Securities, there's a lot of folks that would buy that because that's just a securities trading business. And then Citadel, the hedge fund, probably something like a big bulge bracket bank or Blackstone. Probably Blackstone, in fact, because now Blackstone can plug it into a $1 trillion asset machine. I think there would be buyers out the door.
This is an incredible grift. Now I know why Sacks.
It's not a grift at all, but it's an incredible.
Oh, come on, man! A cabinet position for no cap gains?
Well, that's not a grift. That's like those are the laws. They force you to sell everything.
Feels
Yeah,
grifty
and
to
then
me.
you do public service.
I think you're misusing the word to continue to genuflect to the left leaning.
No, I'm not genuflecting. I think you're being a little defensive because you see this as a
Then
bad.
that or you're dumb. Pick one.
I'm not stupid, man.
You
I
don't
know a
even know.
grift when I see it. You take a cabinet
Sacks-
position.
Sacks, would you
don't
take a
pay
cabinet
cap
position?
gains.
Would you be Secretary of the Treasury?
Where does that exist?
Yeah, Sacks, if you were asked to serve,
Look, any normal person who wants to serve in government, you can't use email and you can't touch a document. And every deal you've ever done gets investigated.
That's
Why
a
the
yes.
hell would you want to
That's a
do
yes.
it?
Yes.
Why would you
That's
want to
a-
do it? I mean,
that's a
offsetting
yes.
that, you get to divest tax-free.
Methinks thou doth protesteth too much, David Sacks.
The fact that you two know this rule and
do you mean?
Friedberg
It's
and I
well known.
don't.
no, I know it. It's like a well-known
by the
thing.
way,
The only
Jake,
person who doesn't know this is rich people
Jake,
knowledge.
I looked up grift. It
Everyone
means to
knows this.
engage. It means that to engage in a petty or small scale swindle. I don't think
Okay.
selling a $31 billion entity
no, it's not small.
to a combination
This
of
is-
BlackRock and Blackstone would be considered a petty small
By the
scale
way,
swindle.
did any of you guys watch the Madoff series on Netflix?
No, was
No.
it good?
No.
Oh my god, it is so depressing. I gotta say, like just that Madoff series, there is no glimmer of light or hope or positivity or recourse. Everyone is a victim. Everyone suffers. It is
So
just
gross.
so dark. Don't watch it. It's so depressing.
The
Okay,
Madoff one.
I have
The
I have
Madoff
the-
one is so depressing. It's so
Yeah, they all
awful.
kill themselves and die.
They
It's
killed, and
horrible.
like all the
No, one
everyone
guy
was a
died- one-
victim.
one guy
And then
died of
and then
cancer. That's
Irving
terrible.
Picard, I didn't realize all this. The trustee that went and got the money, he went and got money back from these people who were 80 years old and retired and had spent that money decades ago, and he sued them and took their homes away from them. And no one and they had no idea
one
that they
won.
were part of the scam. No one won. It was a
Well-
brutal, awful whole thing. Yeah. The
You
whole
know
thing
what
was
they
like
said,
that.
By the way, that's going to be really interesting as we enter this SBF trial because
100%. 100%.
that is that is what happens if you got.
And that's why the
but
Southern District of New York said that this case is becoming too big for them because all the places that SBF sent money, all those PACs and all those political donations,
Semaphore.
they have to go and investigate where that
Politico.
money went and see if they can get it back. And it's going to open up an investigation into each one of these campaign finance and election and kind of interfering
Wait, no, not
actions that were taken.
Politico. ProPublica. Sorry, ProPublica. Yeah.
on the other end of the spectrum, I did watch this weekend Triangle of Sadness. Have you guys
I watched
seen
it
this?
too. It was great.
Oh my god! Okay,
Triangle of Sadness is great. It's so dark.
to the Davids, listen, this is one of I thought it didn't pay off the way I thought, but this is one of the best setups you'll see in a movie. So basically it's a bunch of people on a luxury yacht. So you have a bunch of rich people as the guests. Then you have the staff that interacts with them. And this is like mostly Caucasian. And then in the bowels of the ship, what you see are Asian and Black workers that support them. Okay. So in some ways is a little bit of a microcosm of the world.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a microcosm of something else.
And then what happens is there's like a shipwreck basically, right?
Oh, don't spoil it. Come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
And so, but I'll just tell you. So the plot is you have this Caucasian patriarchy that gets flipped upside down because after the shipwreck, the only person who knows how to make a fire and catch the fish is the Filipino woman who is in charge of cleaning the toilets. So
So
she
great.
becomes in charge. So now you flip to this immigrant matriarchy.
It's a pretty great meditation on class and survival. It's pretty well done.
It didn't end well, I thought.
It's hard to wrap that one up. Well, you know what they say, boys. Steal a little and they throw you in jail. Steal a lot and they make you king. Famous Bob Dylan quote.
There you go.
All right. Well, this has been a great episode. Great to see you, besties. Austerity menu tonight. Chamath, what's on the austerity menu tonight? What are we doing? A salad, some tuna sandwiches.
No, I think Kirsten is doing dorade.
Dorade, yeah, that's
a good fish. Jake and I once had a great dorade in
Venice.
In Venice.
The dorade from
That
Venice.
was one of the best meals we've ever had. Am I right?
So good. I agree.
When it's done well, the dorade kicks ass.
There's only one way to cook a dorade. Do you know what that is?
Oh.
You gotta, it's the way they did in Venice. You gotta cook the whole fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's doing that.
And then after you cook the fish, then you debone it.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the way to do it.
That was back when Sacks and I used to enjoy each other's company. Before this podcast made us into mortal enemies.
Jake, I'm a little disappointed you couldn't agree with my take on this document scandal. Instead of dunking in a partisan way, I tried to explain why it was a problem of our whole political system.
I like your theory. I think, you keep making me defend Biden. I think Biden's a grifter. I told you these guys are grifting. I just think your party grifts a little bit more. But, compare your grift.
Are we going to play Saturday after the wildcard game? Are you guys interested in playing Saturday as well? Because I got the hall pass. I can do a game on Saturday.
I don't know. I have to check with my boss.
Who's going to are you guys all going? Sacks, are you going to come to play poker at that live stream thing for the day in LA?
I doubt it. No.
He doesn't want to interact with humans.
That does not play well in confirmation hearings.
No.
The last time I did one of those, Alan Keating destroyed me on camera.
That's true.
I had two left feet, and every time he bluffed, I folded, and every time he had the nuts I called, it was brutal.
True. That's true.
That
was a bad
shellacked. A shellacking. A classic Sacks
So it's an image saving thing. Is that what's going on? You're preserving
no.
Okay.
No, I don't have
it has to do with the cabinet positions. He doesn't need to be seen recklessly gambling.